And now welcome inside the Collins Arena as we get set for Jersey Blues basketball here on Brookdale TV. Brian Goudsward, Tim Kettlefamo here with you as the Jersey Blues women's team will take on Mercer tonight. Brookdale is riding high this season, sitting atop the Region 19 standings, an overall record of 16-1, and they have won their last 3 games in a row. And Tim, coming off a game Tuesday night against Ocean where they blew away the Vikings, only had 6 players available for that game, but 2 of them were Dion and Danielle Griffith, and those 2 sisters have made their mark on this program of late.
Yeah, the two twins have really played very well. Those two in particular have been really strong this year. We talked about it in the last game, how they've kind of worked their way into the starting lineup. So they've been very impressive to watch. Of course, you also have Danielle Griffith, who's performing well in the low block area. Dion picking up some of the other perimeter shooting. And then you have players like Rachel Rouse that also had a very nice night. So Brookdale all around, even though they have a small team as far as the number of players that they have a very talented team at that. And Rich Brunson is very excited for what they got.
And they will have those same 6 players available for the game tonight. Meanwhile, the opponent, Mercer, is out of the Division II section of the Region 19, so it's a step up from what Brookdale saw in their last game going against an Ocean team that had been winless. As you take a look at the Jersey Blues getting introduced, and there is the starting lineup for Rich Brunson. He'll go with the same unit as he did on Tuesday. It was a winning combination of Rachel Rouse, Danielle and Dion Griffith, with Haley Delonzo and Anna Catanzaro rounding it out for Brookdale. And the Jersey Blues have one new addition to the roster. We may see her later in the game. That would be number 23, Deja Anderson. And there is the Mercer lineup for the Vikings. They go with Taisha Livingston, Darnella McMillan, Maddie Diaz, Tyesha Stevenson, and Zena Alaboudi. Brookdale playing for the second time this week. They have 3 games total on the week, so it's a busy week for the Jersey Blues. They'll play Saturday on the road, and that'll be at Nassau County. Brookdale again looking to make it work with the few players they have available. Had no problem on Tuesday taking care of Ocean, and now trying to make it 4 consecutive victories. And there seems to be a delay here before the opening tip. There was a technical foul assessed. Now, you think you've seen it all, and then you get a technical foul before the opening tip. I mean, I have never seen this at any level of basketball.
Yeah, obviously some type of procedural issue there, Brian. I'm not really sure exactly what happened. I didn't hear over the PA what was called or if there was something, obviously, that was assessed towards Brookdale as a team. So I'm not quite sure about that. Didn't hurt Brookdale anyway because Mercer wasn't able to get either one from the line. But that is definitely a bizarre way to start the game. I agree with you. I don't think I've ever seen that.
We'll have to try to figure that out maybe at halftime. The officials tonight, Kaz Beverly, Bobby Mui-Piro, and Michael Bartozik. We are underway. Mercer controls the opening tip. Vikings enter with a record of 5-10, sitting in the middle of the pack in the standings for the Division II section. Here's Taisha Livingston, and she connects from the baseline to open things up tonight.
And Livingston is going to be the key for Mercer. They're going to have to get her going early on if they want to stay with Brookdale. She averages 20 points a game. She's a good shooter. She needs to heat up quickly.
Delonzo can't hit the 3. Griffith follows it up. And now backs it out to the corner. Brookdale will get reset. Griffith to Griffith for 3. It's good.
And we were just talking about the Griffith sisters in the opening, Brian. That's really good chemistry that they have on the floor. We saw that in play, and they just really together play very well when they're both on the floor at the same time.
Livingston misses the runner. Ball tipped a few times, but Livingston came up with it, and then a jump ball gives the ball to Brookdale.
Something that we talked about in the last game is you see Coach Brunson there looking on from the sideline. Something we talked about in the last game, particularly about the two Griffith sisters, is the fact that they have interests from other four-year schools, other four-year universities that are looking at them, potentially bringing them on as juniors next season. They're both sophomores, so they have a lot going for them in their future playing time as student athletes.
About a minute and a half in, Brookdale leads 3-2. Livingston top of the key. McMillan fires, high arcing delivery, and she nails it, a 3-ball. It's a Mercer team that doesn't specialize on the offensive end of the floor. Griffith filling the lane but couldn't get it to go. It's rebounded by Livingston.
Yeah, they only average 56 points a game, Brian, but they've gotten off to a pretty good start and almost got another layup there. They're being able to move the ball around with efficiency, which is something that we don't see too many teams when they come here to the Collins Arena to play be able to do against Brookdale's defense.
There's DeLonzo finishing in transition. Brookdale showing some pressure, something they didn't do much of in the game Tuesday night, didn't really need to for that matter. Stevenson misses it, and Rouse, the rebound, then Rouse runs into a Mercer defender, that time Alaboudi.
Yeah, I think if you're Coach Tenaglia, who's in his 29th season as head coach for Mercer, you have to be pretty pleased with getting off to a good start. I know we're early on and we got a long way to go, but it's important for Mercer, Division II team, to start off strongly. They've had a tough year. They've struggled shooting the ball. They've struggled getting points on the board. For them to be tied at 5 and have been able to work the ball around the way that they have, I think that's a good start.
Rouse for DeLonzo, pops a 3 and connects. Haley DeLonzo from long range, and Brookdale's opened up by hitting a couple from behind the arc. 8-5 Brookdale in front. Alaboudi, yes. Now Zena Alaboudi, her first field goal.
Just a really nice job by Mercer. They're handling a full court press. Ball really didn't even touch the floor, actually. Just nice passing.
Griffith, good position down low, tough angle, and Catanzaro touched it last out of bounds. And now Rich Brunson will make the one substitution that he can, with Jessica Poplawski in and Danielle Griffith to the bench.
You know, we talked about the Griffith sisters in the open, Brian. We spent all that time talking about them as there's a turnover there by Mercer. We didn't really mention Haley DeLonzo at all. She's arguably the best player on the floor for Brookdale. She just got that 3 a moment ago. She's a player that can do it all. She can play well on defense. She's a scrappy player. She gets in there. She steals a lot of the basketball, or a lot of basketballs away from opponents, and she can do it on the offensive end by driving it inside, by taking perimeter shots. So she's a really nice all-around player.
It's DeLonzo to set it up. DeLonzo throws it inside. Catanzaro back for it. DeLonzo, nice find. Catanzaro finishes. Nice teamwork that time. DeLonzo the assist.
And that's Catanzaro's strength on that low block area. That's where she's better as opposed to being on top of the perimeter. So Brookdale's got to go to her when she's got position inside.
A long 3 by McMillan is way off the mark. Trying to save it Livingston, but it's Jersey Blue basketball. So Brookdale overall, they're at 16-1, the only team in the Region 19 to be unbeaten in conference and region play. Their only loss was against Union. Since then, they've won 3 in a row. Griffith in and out on a 3. It's rebounded by Livingston.
And keep in mind, Union County College is a Division II team, probably the best Division II team in the Region 19 conference. So the fact that they were able to play closely for the majority of that entirety of that game against Union County at Union County was very impressive. And even though they lost the game, I think that gave them confidence that, you know what, we can play against some teams that could possibly be on paper better than us.
It's the first foul of the game goes on Dion Griffith. Ball movement back out to the corner. And here's Livingston stepping into a jumper. It's short, and Rouse the rebound. Rouse looking to up the tempo. DeLonzo is open for 3. It doesn't go, but Catanzaro the offensive rebound, and it's taken by Livingston.
Yeah, Mercer got very lucky. You can't leave Haley DeLonzo that open in the corner. Somebody's got to close out and get a hand in her face. Mercer looked confused on that defensive possession. DeLonzo, like I said, Brookdale was, or I should say Mercer was very lucky she didn't hit that three.
Halfway through this opening quarter, Brookdale up 3. Shot clock down to 8 for the Vikings. Diaz fires off the back rim, and DeLonzo up for the rebound. Leads Rouse up the floor. Bounce pass, Griffith couldn't handle it, and back the other way, Mercer. Lead pass intercepted in the backcourt, DeLonzo. And then she's bumped and fouled by Alaboudi. That's team foul number 1 against Mercer.
And one thing that I've seen on Mercer is they're able to move the ball. They like to almost get out and run, very similar to the Brookdale Jersey Blues men's basketball team. We see them like to get out and run. The only thing that I'm seeing on offense for them is they don't, apparently from what I've seen so far, have a designated player who can drive the ball inside and actually go to the hoop. That, I think, might be an issue for them as you see Deja Anderson check in for the first time tonight.
And the first time this season, for that matter. So it gives Brookdale one more player to work with as DeLonzo comes up short, and Diaz touched it last out of bounds, so that'll give Brookdale another opportunity. DeLonzo will inbound it. Each team trying to find the rhythm offensively. It's been a sluggish start. Here's Rouse. Poplaski the high screen. Anderson inside the arc. Too strong on a jumper, and the rebound battling for it was Alaboudi with Poplaski, and they got Poplaski on a foul.
Yeah, and again, on that possession, almost kind of the same thing for Brookdale. They have people that can drive to the hoop like Rachel Rouse and Haley DeLonzo, but we really haven't seen too much of that, Brian. So a lot of passing, which is perfectly fine on offense, but at some point you got to take that to the hoop. Both teams just look right now a little tentative for some reason.
McMillan off the glass. It doesn't go. It's rebounded by Diaz. Here's Stevenson. That three wouldn't go.
Good look, though.
DeLonzo to the basket. It goes down +1. So Haley DeLonzo a chance for a three-point play. That's team foul number 2 against the Vikings.
And that's what makes Brookdale so dangerous. They can run up the floor so quickly and score within a matter of seconds. The ball sometimes doesn't even touch the ground. That's how fast they can move the ball up. And DeLonzo was really able to adjust that pass very nicely and get to the rim.
Unable to convert on the three-point play, but Anderson the rebound, the jumper no. Offensive rebound, DeLonzo missed it, and it's tipped over to Alaboudi. You can see the pace that Mercer plays. It's one that is much slower than we're accustomed to, but that's the way they operate. They're not an offensively strong team. It's Livingston over Poplaski, no, and it's rebounded by Anderson.
And even though that didn't go in, I like that aggressiveness by Anderson, taking in a couple dribbles, moving into the paint, and getting off that jumper.
Rouse knocks down a 3-ball. Timeout Mercer, as Mike Tenaglia, the head coach of the Vikings, unhappy with his team's defense on that last possession, and the Jersey Blues have opened up a 6-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, Brookdale's gotten off to a very strong start. Like I said a moment ago, I think for Mercer, their key is going to be they're going to have to go inside a little bit more. I know that their offense is not really built that way. You talked about just a moment ago how they like to spread things out on offense. They like to have a little bit of a slower pace. That's just the way Mike Tenaglia likes to run his offense, primarily because they don't really have the speed that other teams in this conference do, where their strengths are inside. The issue has been they haven't been able to get enough good looks inside to be able to finish that off. And part of the problem is what I'm seeing early on is Brookdale's changing up their defense. They're going 2-3 zone, then they're going man-to-man, so they're giving Mercer a lot of looks on defense, which is allowing Brookdale to be able to kind of anticipate what's going to happen with Mercer because they know they don't have the speed. That's one of the adjustments I think that Mike Tenaglia is trying to make during the timeout. If that makes any sense.
It always makes sense.
I don't know if it does.
3 minutes to go now in the first. Diaz way short. It's fielded out of the air by Anderson. So we weren't sure if we were going to see Anderson at all in the game, and she's inserted in the first quarter. Chance to get her feet wet. Brookdale turns it over this time. Diaz with Anderson back. Diaz lays it up and in. Tough finish.
Yeah, Anderson is a player that Coach Brunson has talked about at length. He really likes the way that she looks. He likes her athleticism. So she's definitely been a player that I think Rich Brunson is expecting a lot from.
Poplawski scores the last Brookdale basket and then a turnover. It's a bad pass on the inbounds, unforced error for Mercer. So Brookdale has Delonzo, Rouse, Anderson, Griffith, and Poplawski. That's Danielle Griffith. 8-point Jersey blue advantage. Poplawski, jump shot, too strong, and a loose ball foul will go against Brookdale, a push.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Danielle Griffith, if I'm not mistaken there, Brian. She kind of pushed off underneath, as you said, in the low block. But again, for Mercer, they haven't started out the game that badly. It's just they need, I think, at different times to pick up the tempo on offense a little bit and go inside, just like we're seeing right now with Livingston.
And she gets the roll. Tylisha Livingston, who's the Vikings' leading scorer, averaging just under 20 points a game. Brookdale holds on to it.
Livingston is going to have to get going. They cannot afford to have her have a rough night, because that's really where the bulk of their offense comes from. Not so much scoring-wise, but just the presence on the floor that allows them to be able to run their offense.
Delonzo, bad pass, looking for Poplawski. Mercer overall a record of 5-10. They come off a win 62-58. Like Brookdale, it was on Tuesday when they beat Manor College. And they have now won back-to-back games for the first time this season. Down 6 in the early going. Shot clock down to 8. Ball staying on the perimeter. Diaz fakes out Griffith, but called for a travel.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate there, but I like the aggressiveness. We're starting to see the last couple of possessions Mercer pick up the tempo on offense. That's how they're going to be able to remain with Brookdale. I don't believe that they can continue to run the methodical offense that they've run all season to keep up with the Jersey Blues. They're going to have to pick it up and go inside.
Rouse pull-up jump for 2. 19-11, under a minute to go now in the first. Diaz is open, a 3, won't go. Offensive rebound, Alaboudi, and a foul called.
I think Alaboudi actually may have gotten away with a walk there, Brian. If I'm not mistaken, that almost looked like Alaboudi, before the foul was committed, actually came down once she left her feet. So I know that there was contact, but it almost seemed like it happened at the exact same time. So Mercer, I think, got bailed out there by that foul on Danielle Griffith.
Yeah, that's her second.
There you go.
Livingston, it goes, and the foul. Tylisha Livingston, a chance for 3.
And just nice job during that inbounds pass. Brookdale was man-to-man. I think it was Poplawski who lost where Livingston was on the floor, and Livingston, smart enough, knew to go to the basket, nice feed inside, and she's able to finish.
Can't hit from the line. It's Delonzo taking it all the way. Lefty layup, it goes. Shot clock turned off. 21-13, Brookdale in front. Mercer can hold for 1 if they choose. And Delonzo picked it away, but then McMillan takes it back for the Vikings. Alaboudi, too strong offensive rebound. Livingston one more time, a chance for 3.
And Brookdale's now starting to find themselves in foul trouble, Brian. I know that we're coming to the end of the quarter, so it's not really going to affect them that much. They got 5 team fouls, but that's twice now that Livingston has gotten the ball inside. She's drawn the contact, gotten the bucket. She can't hit from the foul line, but that's where you're going to have to go.
Alaboudi got away with, I think, 2 travels there. None were called. Delonzo at the horn, misses. Griffith tried to follow. and that ends the opening quarter. So after one, Brookdale 21, Mercer 15 as the Jersey Blues have the lead against Division II Vikings. We'll be back second quarter coming up next on Brookdale TV. Second quarter underway, and Livingston draws the foul. I guess they called it, it's a travel call against Mercer, so Brookdale will take over. 21-15, Jersey Blues up 6. And Griffith is fouled, trying to haul in the pass. First team foul of the new quarter against Mercer, and it's on Nadine Elamari. Brookdale starts the quarter with Delonzo, the two Griffiths, Catanzaro, and Rouse. Delonzo gets free for 3, misses it, and Catanzaro can't get it to go. Griffith working hard, and she'll go to the line. So quickly, 2 team fouls picked up on the Mercer side. And this one is on Darnella McMillan. Griffith at the free throw line. First one's good. Shoots it at 71% this season for the sophomore out of Howell. Catanzaro put it up, and then there's a foul called.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Catanzaro for going over the back, and that's her 3rd foul, actually, Brian. So Brookdale, one thing that they have done poorly in this game is committed a lot of fouls. They're opening up the door for Mercer County to get back into this game.
Catanzaro frustrated. She remains on the floor for now, but as you mentioned, 3 personal fouls. 22-15, Brookdale leads. About 1 minute gone by in the second. Diaz for Livingston. Shot clock's down to 7. Inside, Alaboudi missed it, and it's rebounded by Catanzaro.
And I know that that's not the way that you want to finish that possession, but that's the type of tempo that Mercer's got to bring to the floor.
Griffith had it stripped away. Catanzaro saves it. May have traveled.
Yeah, I think she did.
Brookdale catches a break. Rouse pump fake. Now she releases and hits a 3. Rachel Rouse.
Yeah, Rachel Rouse is just a special player. She is one of the players that Coach Brunson has been working with during practice to give her a little bit more confidence. She's good, but sometimes in the game she tenses up. She wasn't tense on that one. She knocked that down easily.
McMillan top of the key, watched by Griffith. She drives, throws it up there, and it goes down. Darnella McMillan. We'll take another look at that. Delonzo for Catanzaro inside. That's good. Brookdale back to the press. They're up by 10 now. There's Stevenson into the paint, forces it up, gets her own rebound. And then it's taken back by Elamari. Throw it inside for Livingston, and the turnaround hook won't fall. And back the other way, the Jersey Blues. 3-on-2 developing. Delonzo with a nifty move, but missed the shot. Able to track it back down.
Almost looked like Delonzo had passed that to herself as she went around the defender.
Griffith off the mark on a 3, and it's secured by Elamari.
Mercer has picked up their tempo, Brian, on both ends. They're playing tighter defense, and they're working the ball much more efficiently on offense than what we saw in the beginning portions of the first quarter.
Here's McMillan short. Tap back out Livingston. Shot clock resets. Stevenson for Livingston inside. Bank shot, no. Takes it back again.
Dribble.
And which way will it go? Rich Brunson applauds. Brookdale will have the basketball.
Yeah, I think that the official on the baseline called that Livingston was on the foul, was on the baseline first before the timeout came. You just can't hold the ball when you're underneath there. I know that it's tempting to do because you feel like you're trapped, but sometimes the best thing you could do if you're underneath the basket like that is just to kind of lean back a little bit and go up. Most of the time you're going to get fouled.
Anderson steps into a jumper, rimming no. Delonzo the offensive rebound. Both teams have had a tough time boxing out in this game. Griffith from the baseline. And it's rebounded by Livingston, who averages 11 boards a game. Anderson the steal in the backcourt. Pushes it up the floor. Griffith wide open. Hits the three. Dion Griffith from long range.
And we've started to see Dion Griffith the last couple of games get more and more confident on the floor. She was a little timid at the beginning of the year, along with her twin sister, but they're both getting more confident.
Here's a fast break. Anderson the catch, couldn't finish. And Maddie Diaz races ahead. Couldn't connect with Nadine Elamari. That's a turnover.
The tempo has really picked up, Ryan. I mean, the last several minutes, this was not the way that we saw the first quarter go. So things have definitely changed. I like the ball movement on both sides, but both teams are struggling to make gimmies underneath the basket.
Jersey Blues lead by 12. Anderson is fouled. Strong move going to the basket, and she'll shoot free throws. Foul goes on Tylisha Livingston. That's her first. So Anderson, as you mentioned, a player that Rich Brunson talked repeatedly about how excited he was to get her as part of this rotation. You can see some of the skills that she has, especially offensively.
Well, she's athletic. She can drive the ball inside. She's got good presence, and she's a good shooter. She has good form. But I think what's a problem when you're playing your first game of the year is you got to shake a little bit of rust off. You can practice as many times with the team as you want, and she has been. She's been in every away game from what I'm aware of, and she's been with the team, so she knows how the team works. But until you actually get out there and play a full game during an actual scrimmage, it takes some time to shake a little bit of the rust off. But she's definitely very talented. I expect a lot of good things out of her for the rest of the year.
The steal for Griffith. Here's Anderson to the basket, layup no, and it's rebounded by McMillan.
A lot of missed layups in this game, Brian. That's about 4 or 5 that Brookdale's missed. Same thing on the other end for Mercer County.
5 minutes to the half. Enter the post. Elamari couldn't catch it cleanly. Anderson leads Delonzo. The catch, finish, no. Griffith, though, the offensive rebound. Delonzo from the corner won't go for 3. And the rebound to Diaz. Maddie Diaz upping the tempo for Mercer. To the basket, layup, no. And Poplawski the rebound.
I tell you, it's the same recurring story. Just layup after layup that both teams just cannot hit.
Taken away McMillan. And now the Vikings slow it down. Catanzaro set to check in next whistle. Rouse joins her at the scorer's table.
Brookdale's been in this 2-3 zone, Brian, which has given Mercer some difficulty. They've been able to kind of find ways around it, but Brunson is remaining in this 2-3 zone defense. He must see something that he feels he keeps Mercer at bay with.
Here's Delonzo, goes around Diaz and scores. Well, Delonzo, the 2-time Garden State Athletic Conference Player of the Week, including last week. Her skills have been on display all season. Elamari can't connect, and Anderson the rebound.
I tell you, a matchup that you got to watch out for is Jessica Poplawski and Taisha Livingston inside. Those two have been matched up against each other for several minutes now, and there's a lot of contact, some fouls that probably maybe should be called or not, so keep an eye on that matchup as we go throughout the night.
And we'll have a timeout, so we'll take a break. 3:31 to go. Second quarter, Brookdale up by 14.
So I'm Sarah McElroy. I'm the Director of Career Services here at Brookdale. And today we're at the Major Exploration Fair to help students learn more about what they can do in certain careers, what they can do with their majors, and then also to talk about all the hands-on learning opportunities that we offer. We do have a great online job and internship database that every student is able to register for and utilize. Has hundreds of employers and jobs in there right now and internships, so great resource. We have a lot of good resources. There's a lot of great tables here. The faculty are here representing their majors. So I think this is a great way for them to be introduced to it. And then it takes a little bit of research, and students are always able to come and talk to anyone in career services about their careers.
Goudsward, Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our Brookdale TV crew with you tonight. First game of our doubleheader. And a reminder that Brookdale basketball on Brookdale TV is brought to you by Joyce's Subs and Pizza. And they are located at 655 Newman Springs Road in Lincroft. Available online, joycesubsandpizza.com. So we thank them, their second season as our sponsor here on our Brookdale broadcast. Poplawski gets it back after missing the initial shot. Griffith, the runner in the lane, it goes.
And there was some contact down low with Poplawski. There probably should have been a foul that was not called on Mercer County there. So lucky that Poplawski was able to kind of tap it back out to her teammate there for the bucket.
33-17. Stevenson one-on-one with Griffith. Ball staying on the perimeter, now down low. As Ella Mary couldn't get it to fall. Poplawski leads Delonzo, and she finishes it off with the right hand.
I mean, Haley Delonzo just continues to impress. We talked about early on in the season, she came over from the women's soccer team. She was very athletic, very talented there, and then comes in and starts playing basketball, really kind of just on a switch, flipped a switch and was able to just adjust very well to Coach Brunson's style on this team. So she's just a very special player that continues to impress each and every week.
Here's a substitution for Mercer. Cassie Webb checks in for the first time.
And this is actually, from what Coach Tenaglia was telling us pregame, her very first game ever. So she's getting some minutes early on, or say late here in the first half.
As the Vikings look for some sort of a spark, that's Delonzo gets the roll. It's a 20-point Brookdale lead, their largest of the night. And Mercer needs to pick it up offensively if they're going to creep closer here. Stuck on 17 points.
They just have been on a long scoreless drought. They're going to have to go inside. I've said that about 5 or 6 times, but they got to make them inside. That's the issue.
Stevenson off the mark. Griffith's pass for Delonzo. And Delonzo to the basket, and she scores again. And she's just taking over here in quarter number 2.
And this is where we talked about also at the beginning of the game, how Mercer County is a team that only averages 56 points a game. This is where they struggle. They're not a bad team offensively, but they go through these droughts of several minutes sometimes where they just cannot get a bucket, and that's why Brookdale's been able to get out to a 39-17 lead with about 90 seconds left here in the first.
Well, as a team, they average 56 points a game. They turn it over here. And they shoot under 30% from the floor. It's just hard to win consistently when you shoot at that level.
Well, we've seen tonight, I mean, they get good looks, they have good ball movement, but you just look at the amount of shots that we've seen inside that paint area, so many layups that just can't seem to go in. And a lot of people think that those layups are easy. They're not. It's not always easy to get those layups underneath the basket, especially when you have players around you. There's a certain art form that goes into making a layup, but still, despite that, those are shots that you have got to make, and they just have struggled in this second quarter, Brian, to keep pace with Brookdale.
Reach and foul as Diaz made her move. It's team foul number 2 against Brookdale. And it is on Danielle Griffith, so she now has 3.
And now Danielle Griffith's got 3 fouls. Anna Conanzaro's got 3 fouls, Brian. So Brookdale can't afford to commit too many more fouls here. I know they got a 39-17 lead, but you have got to be careful, as I think we got another foul here.
Yeah. This one is offense. No, it's a 3-second call. So the Vikings turn it over. Brookdale is closing out this half very strong. Lead at 39-17, come up on 1 minute left until the break. And Griffith has the pass go off her hand. Well, I mentioned that the only loss Brookdale has had this season is against Union, and they are Division II, as is Mercer, but not at the same level. Diaz gets her own rebound, and it's stripped by Delonzo. Delonzo's running to the basket, layup, no. And Griffith, the offensive rebound. That's been another area where the Jersey Blues have excelled. Rouse, it was halfway down but out. Delonzo, another rebound. And Brookdale, a third chance on this possession. And Rouse is hit.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Brian, but on that last possession, I hate to be ticky-tacky with kind of being a quarterback or a armchair official, I guess, if you will, but it looked like Delonzo may have taken an extra step inside. That's about the second or third time that I thought Brookdale or Mercer have gotten away with a traveling violation. So I know the officials are looking at that downstairs and doing the best job that they can, but that's a couple times now that I've seen players questionably possibly take a third step that was not called.
Rouse, 67% shooter, 2 out of 2. Shot clock off. It's 41-17. Mercer looks for something to feel good about going into the locker room. They haven't scored in quite some time, and they won't score here. Steal for Griffith. It's taken back by McMillan. McMillan, a running shot, gets the roll, and that finally puts a stop to the drought for the Vikings. 1 second left in the half. Rouse didn't know it. Delonzo tees it up, but too late. And so 1 half of basketball in the books. Brookdale controlling it easily over Division II Mercer. The score at the break, the Jersey Blues 41 and the Vikings 19. And look at this game so far, and we've documented Mercer's struggles offensively, but I think you have to credit Brookdale. They're good offensively, but where they've really taken the next step this season, allowed them to be the #1 team in the region, is their defensive prowess.
Well, certainly a 2-3 zone defense, man-to-man defense, which is what Brookdale has kind of switched back and forth from for the rest of the season, has been very strong. And we've seen a 2-3 zone defense be very effective tonight, primarily because Mercer is not an outside shooting team, and Coach Brunson knows that. So he's almost forcing them to go inside, and it's very tough with a 2-3 zone defense to go inside when you have that type of format that's set up when you're trying to defend your own basket. So they've done a nice job of that. For Mercer, they just have had so many shots. We've talked about it during the first half. They just have had so many shots inside that have either not gone in, a lot of layups. The reason why they only shoot 27% from around the perimeter as a team. So it's not so much that they can't move the ball around or that they're not a good team as far as passing efficiency is concerned. It's just they can't make those critical baskets inside. They went through a long stretch in the first half where they did not get one bucket. That allowed Brookdale to get out to a lead. And, you know, I'm not saying the game's over, but they got a very steep hill to climb in the second half.
No doubt. As Brookdale had their way in that first half, they lead it 41-17. We're at the halftime break right now. We'll step aside here on Brookdale TV. Getting set to start the second half. Brian Coudsworth, Tim Catalfamo back here with you. Brookdale with a sizable lead at halftime. And Tim, one area where they excelled opening up the lead, getting numerous offensive rebounds, creating second, third, sometimes even fourth chance opportunities.
Yeah, boxing out was a big thing in the first half that Brookdale did very well. Haley Delonzo, the two Griffith sisters, Anna Catanzaro, all of them really boxing out very well in the first half.
And the second half underway, so let's take the action. 41-21 as Griffith lays it up and in with the left hand. That's Dion Griffith.
You know, we talked about the two Griffith sisters really just continuing to gain more and more confidence, not only in each other, but in just on the floor in general as the season has gone along.
Livingston is fouled, so Tyleisha Livingston to the free throw line for Mercer. And it's on Jessica Poplawski. One issue for Brookdale has been foul trouble. Catanzaro has 3, Poplawski has 2. And Livingston first attempt is no good. Just to update the situation we had before this game started, if you were with us, Mercer took a technical foul that was called on Brookdale, and that was as a result of Brookdale adding Deja Anderson too late to the scorebook. And so that was the penalty that Brookdale paid. Meanwhile, Mercer wasn't able to convert because they missed the free throws, but that was the issue. We were wondering at the time why, and we found out at halftime that is why.
Yeah, it's just really kind of a procedural thing, and each situation is slightly different, but the way that Deja Anderson got added, Anderson this morning didn't know if she was eligible to play until this afternoon, and when she got that information, it was very spur of the moment, it was very late, and as a result, when the Brookdale Athletics team added her to that roster, the officials didn't see that in time. They have a window that if you don't have a certain set number of players in that book at the scores table, that player then has to have a technical foul shot, and that's exactly what happened with Brookdale. It didn't hurt them, but that's the reason why Mercer shot 2 technical fouls to start the first quarter.
Livingston back to the free throw line. Poplawski now with 3 personal fouls. Livingston, who averages just under 20 points a game to go along with 11 rebounds. But a couple misses at the free throw line to start this third quarter. Second attempt for the sophomore, and she missed it. But a lane violation will allow another attempt.
Yeah, Rachel Rouse moved early, and that's one of those situations where you just have to wait until the ball hits the rim. You can't jump into the lane like that, so unforced error there for Brookdale.
Well, that has Mike Tenaglia frustrated. Or I should say Rich Brunson frustrated, because it's another free throw attempt for Livingston, but she couldn't make any of them.
Well, he's frustrated that she can't make any foul shots from the line.
Exactly.
That's the frustrating part there.
That's right.
That's an area that Mercer County has struggled in as a team. They only shoot 59% from the line, and Livingston herself, she's actually not a bad free throw shooter, Brian. She shoots 68%, but still, they have struggled mightily from the foul line in this game.
Poplawski starts the second half on the floor. She didn't start in the game as Griffith comes up with air. Danielle Griffith trying to get to it, but it'll go to the Vikings. 8:31 to go in this third quarter. Brookdale leads at 45-22 over Mercer. Mercer a Division II opponent, but thus far they've mustered very little offensively. And Alonzo another steal. Rushing it up the floor to the basket, layup with the right hand. Offensive rebound, Griffith tracks it down. And then it's stolen by Livingston.
I tell you, Mercer's defense, I know that they've given up a lot of points. They haven't played that badly. That probably should have been a foul there against Rachel Rouse, but they haven't played that badly. It's just that they haven't been able to execute on offense. We've talked about that several times. It's not that they're a bad team. It's just they've had so many opportunities that they've missed. We talked about their issues from the foul line. They've had issues from around the perimeter. They look better than what they've played and certainly what the scoreboard shows.
McMillan way short, and it's picked up by Griffith. She's trapped and fouled, as in the way was Alaboudi.
And we are having issues with the scoreboard, just so that our viewers are aware of that.
Alonzo to set it up. Griffith for Delonzo. Delonzo backing in, and it's a travel.
Yeah, again, just good defense there. Mercer went to a 2-3 zone, actually, and they were very effective in stopping Brookdale. Brookdale, I think, was a little bit confused as to what to run, but again, just the same story here for Mercer. They tighten up their defense. They've allowed Brookdale only 45 points with nearly 22 minutes of basketball. That's not a bad average. They just can't score on the offensive end.
It's hit by Griffith and the steal. And Griffith takes it herself, blocked by Diaz, but Rouse right there to put it in. So Diaz got the blocked shot, but Rouse corralled it right away and was able to score. And Rouse has a steal this time. Didn't have the numbers, so she backs it out. Poplaski the screen, Rouse the jump pass. And now Delonzo gets to her spot, in and out on the jumper. And it's rebounded by Livingston.
I think the way Mercer's going to get back in this game, Brian, as Brookdale looks like now they've switched back to a man-to-man zone or man-to-man defense. The way they're going to get back into this game is they're either going to have to get Livingston inside or somebody else to drive to the hole, just like you're seeing now, make the basket and maybe get to the foul line.
Darnella McMillan, the last basket for the Vikings. But they have a long way to go. Brookdale comfortably in front, 47-24. Delonzo to add to that. Not that time. Foul called, though. Loose ball foul will be the Vikings' second of this third quarter. And it's on Tylisha Livingston, her second, and Delonzo at the line. No good on the first one. Here's a couple of changes for the Jersey Blues. Deja Anderson, Anna Catanzaro in for the two Griffiths. And Zena Alaboudi checks out for Mercer, replaced by Nadine Elamari.
Yeah, we talked about how good of a player Haley Delonzo is on offense and how efficient she can be on defense, as that shot's not going to count because of another violation on Brookdale. That's the second in this third quarter. But she's got 46 steals, Haley Delonzo has this season, and it's just a testament to, I think it has something to do with the soccer background that she has. You have to be very light on your feet, very quick, and you don't want to reach in soccer because obviously you can't touch the ball, you can't use your hands, so she's able to know how much she can get away with without getting away with a reach-in foul, and I think that's why she's so efficient at being able to steal the basketball away on defense.
Here's McMillan starts the rush this way. Mercer takes their time getting into the offense. That's their style. Elamari short, and it's tipped out to Delonzo. Delonzo all the way to the basket, stripped of the ball, and it's picked up by Diaz. Here's Diaz. Bounce pass, good find. Livingston, yes, off the glass and in.
Yeah, nice smart decision there by Diaz. She was coming up the floor with a head of steam. She easily could have just gone aggressive right to the hole, but it wasn't going to work out. She gave that extra pass. It got over to Livingston, and she was able to finish.
There's the very experienced Mike Tenaglia. He has Paul Chizek beat 29
yes, 20.
seasons.
I was thinking about that this morning, yes.
As the head man of this Viking program. There's a whistle.
It's a 10-second violation on Brookdale there, Brian. They didn't get it over midcourt, so just a lot of issues here in this third quarter.
But we've seen the pace be very slow, but that time just too slow. Can't advance it across midcourt within 10 seconds.
You know, something that I was talking about, you talked about the experience that Coach Tenaglia has. He has over 350 wins at the women's basketball level with this team in Mercer County. Now, you talked about Coach Chizak. Conversely, he had 500 wins last season in, I believe it is 27th season. He's in his 28th season now. So it just goes to show you that the tenure and certainly the experience that he brings, I'm talking about Coach Tenaglia, on the sidelines is very valuable for the Vikings.
McMillan forces it up. Offensive rebound, Livingston. Her shot off the glass. She's got it again. Missed it again. Rouse tips it, and Delonzo's got it. Delonzo, that's a carry. Come up on 4 minutes left, third quarter.
Brookdale back to a 2-3 zone on this set.
Cross-court pass, picked off Delonzo. 2-on-1 developing, Delonzo all the way, and gets the roll with the right-hand layup.
And we're just talking about stealing the basketball. She's able to steal the ball and then turn it into points at the other end. That's what makes her such a dangerous player. How many times, Brian, have we seen that this season alone with Haley Delonzo?
And a timeout on the floor. 3:34 remaining, third quarter. It's been all Brookdale tonight. They're in front, 49-26. We'll take a break.
Thing I look forward to.
I think they really have to be smart.
and love people and want to do this, and she does. We enjoy doing it and love coming to Brookdale.
This is my first year at Brookdale, and when I heard about this event, I immediately wanted to go because I love dogs, and I also have a golden retriever, and I ran over to this dog, and she's adorable, and I feel really happy right now, and it's a really great event for
Brian Goudsward, Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our Brookdale TV crew with you tonight. First game of our doubleheader. The men's opponent will not be Mercer County. It'll be Harrisburg Area Community College, so that's a switch from the usual. And that game will be coming up after the conclusion of this one at approximately 7 o'clock.
Yeah, should be a good one. Both of those two teams kind of in the middle of the Region 19 conference standings. Harrisburg 7th, Brookdale 8th in the standings. Top 8 make the Region 19 tournament, so a lot on the line for both teams tonight.
Shot clock at 1. And it was Stevenson who got it off in time, and then a travel. We'll give the ball to Brookdale. Jersey Blues poised to pick up their 17th win of the year against just one defeat. And they've been impressive from the get-go this season. And even with the subtractions with the roster, Catanzaro can't get it to fall. It's rebounded by Alabuti. Alabuti double-teamed, gives it up. Livingston inside, can't finish. And Catanzaro touched it last. Change for Brookdale. Danielle Griffith in. Poplowski will sit. Inbound for Livingston. McMillan just takes it away. Alabuti fires. No. Livingston saves it. Nope, she was out of bounds.
Yeah, I've said this a couple times, Brian. I really would like to see Mercer, maybe not so much in this game because the game might be already a little bit too far out of reach, but I really would like to see Mercer try to drive the ball inside more. I know that's not really their strong suit, but I think that's how you would create an opportunity for some of your players like Taisha Livingston or even McMillan to make some plays underneath the basket. I just don't really see anybody stepping up into that role. I don't know if maybe that's part of the strategy or that's just the way that Mercer likes to run their offense, but I really just think that if Mercer would drive the ball inside more and try to go to the hole and aggressively get to the rim, they may be able to close the gap just a little bit, but as I said, it might be too little too late even if they started doing that at this point.
Rouse is stripped. And here's Stevenson. McMillan to the basket, and she's fouled.
I mean, like a play like that, you go to the hole, you draw the foul. You know that Brookdale, at least Anna Catanzaro and Danielle Griffith, have got 3 personal fouls. So attack that. Go after them. You know that they're going to be standing inside. Try to drive to the hole. You got nothing to lose at this point. Try to get some fouls, extend the game, and obviously now you have to make your foul shots, but try to get to the hole and try to stretch out the game a little bit by driving the ball inside, I think is a strategy that I'm surprised Mercer didn't go to earlier on in the game in the first half.
Dion Griffith back in for Brookdale. McMillan, who has a high arcing release, splits a pair from the line. Livingston, and she'll take her turn at the free throw line. It's Brookdale's 4th of this third quarter. Livingston knows how to initiate contact down near the basket. She's made a living at the free throw line tonight.
Yeah, she's not afraid to get aggressive underneath the basket. She's been fighting for those rebounds really all night long. There's been some fouls I think that maybe she would expect to get called that haven't get called. Same thing on the other end for Brookdale sometimes underneath with players like Anna Catanzaro and Danielle Griffith. But she's been fighting underneath the basket for the majority of the night in Livingston, and she's just, unfortunately, just the team in itself has struggled to get any points on the board. I think it's a 30-second timeout there.
Wants to talk things over with 1:35 remaining in this third quarter. As you see Brookdale huddled up there. They've got a game again on Saturday. They'll travel to Nassau Community. Their next home game will be Tuesday against Bergen, and that's a good matchup between two very good teams in the Region 19.
Yep, Bergen County certainly a very strong team. They have a good head coach. They have a very good program on the women's side, even on the men's side as well. So that should be an interesting matchup, particularly, I think, for both teams. For Brookdale on the women's side, it's just a matter of whether or not they can continue this run that they've been on. You throw out the Union County game, which was a Division II game on the road up in the shoebox at Union County College, and they're undefeated this year. So I think it's really just a matter of whether or not they can keep their momentum going. On the men's side, it's about just trying to get their act together after dropping 3 straight games. I think that we'll see and have a lot of questions that we have answered tonight as to how the team looks after tonight's game against Harrisburg Area Community College, but that'll certainly be an interesting game on Tuesday.
Stalonzo drive and kick, Griffith baseline delivery, and the rebound snatched by McMillan. Mercer trying to get something going here to close out the third quarter. That's a foul, and McMillan goes down. That does not look good.
Yeah, I think she came down awkwardly on her left ankle, if I'm not mistaken, and she knew that right away. She was going down to the floor. I'm assuming that's why the officials had called the foul. I think the foul is on Rachel Rouse. I don't think it had anything to do with the contact, but
looks like they're checking out the right knee as it appeared to have buckled, and she's in obvious pain as she's tended to by the athletic training staff. McMillan, the freshman from Bristol, Pennsylvania.
You know, she does have a compression, I'm not really sure what the term of it is, but like a compression sock that's on her knee, and sometimes that's kind of an indication that, you know, she's been having some issues with that. But it appears to be a knee issue. At first I thought it was an ankle injury, so it looks like she's going to be all right, but it looks like it's more so like the left kneecap. I don't know if she had a knee-to-knee hit with Rachel Rouse or somebody, and that's what caused her to go down. I've had that happen to me. Sometimes, ironically enough, as you're playing, you'll hit someone else's knee right on the bone, and that really stings because there's nothing to protect your bone. It hurts. So I don't know if that's what happened or what, but it almost seemed like a knee issue that she was struggling with, not so much an ankle injury.
Well, it's good to see her walk off under her own power. And she's behind the Viking bench, so we'll see if she's able to make her way back into the game. Meanwhile, Ella Mary at the free throw line, and Mercer has had plenty of struggles at the line. As a team, 60%, but they're under that mark tonight. 1 out of 2 that time. 20-point game. Come up on 1 minute to go in this third quarter. Deja Anderson is in, attacking the basket, blocked. And it's going the other way, the defensive play by Livingston.
What a play by Livingston. Just standing up there, not being intimidated by Anderson coming straight at her. She's got 32 blocks on the season, so impressive play.
Here's Diaz going around the screen.
There you go.
Tough shot. And it's tracked down by Ella Mary for the offensive rebound. Throw it inside through the hands of Livingston, but she still collects and scores.
I just think that that's the type of offense that Mercer has been missing. That drive inside, even if you don't get the bucket, sometimes it creates a mismatch like you just had where you get an offensive rebound and you can pound it back inside.
No one picked up Dion Griffith, all alone underneath for 2. Shot clock no longer a factor. Final 20 seconds of this third quarter, and slapped away for the steal. Danielle Griffith is all clear to the rim for the easy layup.
Danielle Griffith is working towards a season high. She had a season high against Philadelphia with 16 points. She's close to that threshold.
Diaz way short, and Ella Mary no. That shot will not count. It was after the buzzer had sounded, and the third quarter is now in the books with Brookdale leading 53-34. 31. We'll take a break. When we come back, the fourth quarter on Brookdale TV. We get set to start this fourth quarter in this Region 19 matchup. Brookdale taking on Mercer. First game of our doubleheader. Coming up at approximately 7 o'clock, it'll be the men's game as they'll take on Harrisburg Area Community College, and head coach Paul Chizek is in the building. He is behind the scorers table as we speak. And the fourth quarter underway. Brookdale opens up with possession. Deja Anderson, jump shot short. Griffith back up with it. That doesn't go. Anderson again. Delonzo for three. Another offensive rebound, and on we go. Rouse drives and fouled.
We've seen Deja Anderson last couple times down the floor. In fact, really all night. She's had good looks. She's got good form. She's just not quite getting off her feet enough because each shot is hitting the front of the rim. She's not quite jumping just enough. I don't know, maybe if it has something to do with the fact, again, and it's very plausible, this is her first game that she's played all year, so it takes some time to shake some rust off, but she's got to get off her feet just a little bit more. She's right on target. She's right at the rim. She's just got to get off her feet just a tad bit more.
Griffith misses, and it's scooped up by Darnella McMillan. Good to see her back in the game after taking that shot in the third quarter. What appeared to be a knee injury, but she seems to be okay as Griffith has the steal.
Ooh, that was close to travel there for Dion Griffith.
Delonzo just running clock. Anderson sets the screen. Delonzo loses it, and it's back to the Vikings. Well, it's hard to overcome a 22-point deficit at any level, but especially when you're an offensively challenged team like Mercer is.
Nice
It
move.
almost seems insurmountable. Livingston had it taken away. Brookdale back this way. Rouse for three. Way short. How about that save by Anderson, and then it's scooped up by Livingston. Livingston's pass is tipped, pinballs around, rolling out of bounds. And that's going back in Brookdale's favor. Mike Tenaglia disagrees, and he discusses with the official. But the bottom line right now is neither team can hang on to the basketball.
Yeah, and we've seen so many passes that Mercer has had tonight be tipped or broken up or stolen away. And part of the reason is, especially Danielle Griffith, she stands at 5'11", but when she has both hands up in the air, that's about 6'5" at least, because she's got very long arms, and she just disrupts so many passes tonight that's made it hard for Mercer, especially in transition, to get the ball up the floor because she just puts her hands up. She doesn't even have to jump. She just puts her hands up and the ball gets deflected.
Brookdale has Delonzo, the two Griffiths, Poplawski, and Catanzaro, the five on the floor. Up by 22 points. Foul on the entry pass. McMillan holds Catanzaro. Team foul number 2 against the Vikings. So it's an inbound situation. Delonzo. Bounce it in. Nice. Poplawski rejected Livingston.
Yeah, nice job by Livingston getting back on defense and blocking that shot away. It's the right look for Poplawski, and that's what she's got to do. She made a nice move to get around Livingston, who was defending her man-on-man, but she's just got to be a little bit quicker inside. When you get inside like that, I know you don't want to rush things, and sometimes you can be too quick and just kind of chuck the ball up there and not really look where you're throwing it up to off the glass, but you got to be a little bit more efficient inside, especially when you have such a nice shot blocker like Taisha Livingston standing right behind you. I think the shot clock didn't reset.
So they'll get the shot clock issue straightened out. Delonzo readies to inbound it. Delonzo for Catanzaro slips through her hands, out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's not really a great offensive look for Brookdale out of that inbounds pass, and Coach Brunson's on the sideline kind of just shaking his head. That's not really what you want to do. I know that Delonzo was looking for Catanzaro, but to kind of like swing the ball around like that, almost like behind her back when you have a defender in between the two of you, that's not really the best pass, and certainly not the best look that you want on offense.
Inside Ella Mary working on Catanzaro. Stolen by Griffith, but a reach-in foul. Be Brookdale's second of this fourth quarter. And for Dion Griffith, it's number 3.
Yeah, so Griffith's got 3. Her sister Danielle's got 3. I believe Catanzaro's still got 3 fouls. So, again, it hasn't really hurt Mercer too much, but Brookdale's definitely in some foul trouble, more so than what we've seen this season.
Now, the game we saw Thursday against Ocean, as Delonzo pokes it away, it'll stay with the Vikings. Game on Tuesday, Rich Brunson made it a focus for his team to commit as few fouls as possible, and they committed about 2 in the first half, not many overall for the game.
Yeah, Brookdale actually almost went a full 17 minutes in the first half without committing 1 personal foul. So totally different story this time around. They've had some foul issues. Hasn't hurt them so far, but that's something that you're going to have to clean up.
53-33, Brookdale in command. Griffith bumped and fouled, and Tyesha Stevenson didn't think so.
Yeah, the officials now the last couple of minutes have kind of tightened up with the contact downstairs that they kind of let go in the first half. Now they're starting to tighten things up as the game comes down to an end, and they're calling everything right now, so both teams have to be aware of that.
Stolen away by Stevenson. I should say Livingston. Diaz from the corner, shot short. It's rebounded by Griffith, and then she's fouled. So the fouls continue to pile up for them against Mercer in this fourth quarter.
Well, you know, it's a tongue twister. You got Tyesha Livingston, and then you got Tyesha Stevenson.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's easy to get kind of mixed up in that regard.
I figured that would happen at some point. Under 6.5 to go. Poplawski was not expecting the pass. And back the other way, Ella Mary.
Yeah, I don't really know what was going on in that possession. I don't know if Poplawski was trying to set a screen or she just wasn't ready, but that's a turnover.
Ella Mary into the paint, running shot goes down.
And again, you know, Mercer has shown sparks of some promise, but then they shoot themselves in the foot with so many turnovers. They average 18 a game. They've well eclipsed that margin tonight.
It's Catanzaro drives, and she's fouled. So Anna Catanzaro to the free throw line for the first time tonight. And team foul number 5, assist to Mercer.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Brunson actually on Tuesday after the Ocean County game, and I was talking to him specifically about Anna Catanzaro and how much of a player she's developed into this season, and you know, as a freshman, what is his take on her? And he told me that she's a great player who he feels can develop into next year. In fact, he told me he's going to be working with Anna during the summer to get her ready for her sophomore season, because he really does feel that she can develop into a really good post player down low for Brookdale.
Diaz gets it to go. Jump shot inside the arc. 55-37. Delonzo slips it inside. Poplawski got the front rim. It's loose underneath. It'll be a held ball. And it's going in Mercer's direction.
You know, if there's one silver lining with Mercer, it's that their defense has been pretty stout, because Brookdale's had a lot of turnovers. Brookdale averages almost 80 points a game. They've only got 55 tonight. So if there's anything that they can take away, regardless of what happens with this game, it's that their defense held Brookdale pretty well for the majority of this going.
Madison Diaz now back-to-back jumpers. It's a 15-point game. Catanzaro gets the roll on the baseline jumper.
And she likes that shot from the baseline, and she's getting more confident each time she gets the ball in that position. can't always make them because you're at a tough angle where you can't bank it off the glass, so you got to be spot on, but that's really been her area the last several games.
It was McMillan using the screen and knocks down the jumper. All of a sudden, it's an offensive exhibition. These two teams, particularly Mercer, struggling on the offensive end for much of the night, but suddenly they've come alive. Is it too little too late? Shot will not count. Foul on the floor as DeLonzo was driving. And DeLonzo to the free throw line. Third personal charge to Tyesha Stevenson. And a reminder once again that Brookdale basketball is being brought to you by Joyce's Subs and Pizza. And they are located at 655 Newman Springs Road in Lincroft. Available online at joycessubsandpizza.com. And Catanzaro gets the offensive rebound. Brookdale retains it. One problem for Mercer, and we've talked about it, has been boxing out, and that's in large part because their tallest player is 5'10". They just don't have a lot of size.
Yeah, and that's something that Coach Tenaglia told us pre-game that is just an issue for them. You're right, they don't have the size inside. That's going to be, I believe, an offensive foul there on McMillan, which is a shame because I don't quite know if DeLonzo was truly set there, but still, they just don't quite have the size that Brookdale has. I talked about Danielle Griffith. She stands on our chart as 5'11", but when she puts her hands up, straight up, she's probably 6'3". I mean, you know, the wingspan, so to speak. And Mercer really doesn't have any players like that. They just don't quite have the size to match up against Brookdale. That's a problem.
Poplaski stepped out of bounds.
And I know McMillan turned the ball over with that offensive foul, but between her and Tyesha Livingston, they've been getting after it inside. They have each had several blocks in this game, Brian. I mean, they have not allowed any easy shots inside the post, especially in the paint area when Brookdale's had the ball.
Ball knocked out by DeLonzo. She thought it was last touch Mercer, but it'll be the Vikings to inbound it. They're down by 15, 3:23 remaining here tonight.
I mean, Mercer's not out of this. They could potentially make a run here, but they're going to have to be a little bit more efficient as they turn it over.
Rouse for DeLonzo. Can't finish it. Able to get her own rebound. Find Griffith for two. It's part of the all-around game of Haley DeLonzo. She doesn't just score, leads the team in assists as well. Millen watched by DeLonzo. Livingston posting up.
Nice.
Can't get it to fall. Tipped over to Ella Mary, and she's fouled. Meanwhile, Livingston takes an extra second to get to her feet. And Nadine Ella Mary will shoot.
That's about the fourth or fifth time that Livingston has made a nice move around Poplowski inside, but cannot finish. And that, in a nutshell, has been Mercer County tonight. They've been oh so close. They've had good ball movement, but they just can't seem to execute when it comes to putting points on the board.
Deja Anderson checks in for Danielle Griffith. One more attempt for Ella Mary, the freshman from Groveville, New Jersey. Livingston snatches the rebound, goes up for two. And DeLonzo has it slapped out of bounds. Brookdale holds on to it. Alaboudi returns, and Ella Mary to the Viking bench. Inbounded for Rouse, pulls the trigger on a three. It's an air ball. Well, Mercer, after the game is over tonight, they will play January 22nd back home against Raritan Valley as they try to get back on track, in danger of seeing their mini two-game losing streak come to an end. So I'm not sure if that was a shot or a pass, but it's Anderson who races the other way and scores in transition.
Yeah, and well, what I'm seeing out of Anderson, this is really the first time that we've seen her play, but what I'm seeing out of her is she's good in transition, she's got good speed, but sometimes because she had such good speed, she's a little out of control. And we saw her, as she came down the other end of the floor just a moment ago, kind of lose possession of the ball because she's going so fast. It's a talented player that can be able to have that speed but also maintain control and balance in transition. Anderson, I think, is learning that. I think she'll develop as the rest of the year goes along, but certainly a lot of potential there.
They give Livingston the jumper, but instead she kicks it back out. McMillan won't go for three. Offensive rebound, Livingston. And then Stevenson is fouled.
And if you're Brookdale here, I know that you don't want to give up any easy baskets, but why are you fouling? There's really no reason to. Mercer has struggled from around the perimeter. I know that the game isn't necessarily out of reach here. I know that, there's still a very slim chance, however slim it may be, that Mercer could get back into this, but there's just no need to be committing these fouls. It's just been a constant theme in this game, and I'm sure Coach Brunson's just frustrated with this.
It was tipped, so no backcourt violation. Livingston gets the bump from Poplawski, misses the shot, rebound Catanzaro. Final minute and a half to play. Rouse short, long rebound McMillan. And slowly walking to the basket, Livingston for the bucket. And we'll get a timeout with 1:18 until this one is wrapped up. Brookdale in front, 61-46.
Anti-Stress Week. You can receive free massages and meditation bowls at the SLC, as well as partake in a stress management workshop. Check out a free screening of The Secret Life of Pets, or join in a virtual gaming experience and oxygen bar. Last but not least, students can come together for a snack and study session at the library. You don't want to miss out on all the fun. Please visit our website at brookdalecc.edu to find more information. I'm Sophia Perola with Brookdale Television. Thanks for watching.
How you doing? I'm Makai Morgan from Piscataway, New Jersey. I play point guard here at Brookdale Community College. Here I study health sciences. So when I transfer, I would like to become an athletic trainer and study more on that part. And that's the reason why I came to Brookdale, because not only is it a good basketball school, but it's a great academic school also.
Back inside the Collins Arena, Brian Gadsward, Tim Catalfamo here with you as the first game of our doubleheader gets set to wrap up. Brookdale on their way to going to a record of 17-1 this season. Their only loss came against a Division II opponent in Union. They are facing a Division II opponent tonight, but it's been no problem. And Poplawski from in close.
Yeah, we should mention Brookdale has played two other division opponents this year. They're 1-1. They had the Union County game. They also had the County College of Morris game a couple of nights ago that they were victorious in that end. So they're not shy about playing teams that are not within their division, but it really hasn't caused them too many problems this year, with the exception, of course, of the Union County game, which, even though they lost by 14 in that game, Brian, they were in for the majority of that game. It wasn't until the last 4 or 5 minutes that things got away from them.
Yeah, you were in attendance for that one, and that's why you had the experience with Rich Brunson after the game, honking at you.
Let's not bring that up again, yeah.
So Deja Anderson at the free throw line.
Let's put it this way. I've got Brunson's number, he's got mine. It's enough said.
Anderson, the freshman from Newark, in her season debut. No good on the first one.
And remember, Brookdale's done this all without Camarie Brown, who's a player that played very well early on in the season, questionable to return for the rest of the year. Deja Anderson, kind of a player that possibly could take over her role. So Brookdale, they have some questions that are still unanswered that we still are going to have to answer as the weeks go along. We didn't really answer those questions tonight, but they certainly were able to pull out a very good effort against a team in Mercer that is not one of the top teams to Division II play, but certainly is a good team. We've seen many reasons why that is, and despite all the other distractions that have gone on this season, they've been able to perform very well.
Delonzo blocked by Livingston. Brookdale holds on to it, 9 to shoot. Final 33.1 ticks. Poplawski in the post, lost it. And the possession arrow keeps it here. 3 seconds to shoot. Rich Brunson alerting his team. Not that it matters much. Poplawski goes up with it, and it's rebounded by Livingston. Final 20 seconds. Stevenson tees it up, and that will about put a bow on this one tonight. As Brookdale can dribble at the clock, Mercer shows some press. Delonzo advances across midcourt. And the Jersey Blues, who are nationally ranked in the top 5, number 1 in the Region 19 for Division III, are now 17-1 on the season. Their latest winning streak has taken it to 4 straight. The Mercer Vikings had their mini 2-game winning streak come to an end, and they are now 5-11. So we'll get set to welcome you back inside our booth. Brian Goudsworth, Tim Catalfamo with you. And this was a game where Brookdale just took advantage of a Mercer team that played a very slow style and never gotten any kind of a rhythm offensively, and the Jersey Blues took full advantage.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some flashes of brilliance tonight from Mercer County, and again, they're not a bad team. It's just part of the problem is they just were not able to make their shots inside. They had so many multiple opportunities that they just couldn't get the shots to fall. Credit Brookdale's defense, but also credit Mercer. You know, we talk about how Brookdale's a team that can easily put up 80, 85 points. They weren't able to do that tonight, so Mercer can hang their hats on that. But for Brookdale, it's really just kind of been the same story. Haley Delonzo, the 2 Griffith sisters, playing extremely well. We finally saw Deja Anderson. We finally saw her be able to play. So I think for this team right now, they're rolling. They really have not been able to have a team that has stopped them in their tracks. And as you look forward to the Region 19 tournament, they're obviously locked into that round. I mean, they will be in the tournament now. It's just a matter of seeding. I think they'll probably be the number 1 seed. They may even already have gotten the first round bye to the semis in that tournament. So they just continue to roll. I don't really see any issues with them right now. The question is going to be, going forward into that tournament, if any problems reoccur, like inactives or any injuries, which we have not seen, thank goodness, this season for Brookdale, that would really be the only reason I think we would see anything slowing down.
So once again, the final score tonight, Brookdale 63 and Mercer 48. So that's a wrap for the first game of our doubleheader. Brookdale will take tomorrow off. They have another game coming up on Saturday. Our next broadcast on Brookdale TV for the women will be next Tuesday when they take on Bergen. So Tim and I are coming back. The men's game is set to start in about a half hour from now. Stay with us, and thanks for watching here on Brookdale TV.